Pokemon made some big announcements today, and Sony also made some very disappointing announcements today. Let's get into this week's game news show. Welcome back. I'm Chrono, your host. Let's get to talking about the game news. Maybe. There it is. I fixed it. All right, anyway, this is live, so if you're watching after the fact, sorry. Anyway, unfortunately, we found out today Sony is laying off 900 PlayStation employees. This is courtesy of The Verge. Tom Warren writes, Sony says it's laying off around 900 employees of its PlayStation division, a reduction of its global headcount of around 8%. Sony's layoffs will impact a variety of its PlayStation studios, including Insomniac, Naughty Dog, Guerrilla, and Firesprite. Sony's layoffs are the latest in a wave that has been impacting the gaming and tech industries throughout 2024. They put on their blog, we've made the extremely hard decision to announce our plan to commence a reduction of our overall headcount globally by around 8% or about 900 people, subject to local law and consultation processes, says PlayStation chief Jim Ryan. Employees across the globe, including our studios, are impacted. And this is like everything else we've seen so far with these layoffs. It's a big old bummer because people are losing their jobs. But it's kind of the state of the industry. They cut their predictions of sales that hit their stocks pretty hard. They also, what just happened here? That was weird. Sorry, folks. They also missed some targets. If I understand right, there's been just things across the industry. Sales expectations haven't been met on a bunch of AAA games that are costing more and more money. The lack of recurring revenue from like a big live service title on Sony's part. There's things like this that are just going to always impact the industry, and it's honestly kind of their own bed now they have to lie in it. And I mean this industry wide, and it's terrible. I hate it because people are putting their life into making video games for people to play, and they end up not being great, or they end up broken or not selling well. So then it's like, well, guess we can't sell this, or guess we don't want anybody doing this anymore. And it's a huge bummer. On the back of this announcement, we also got wind that Sony has canceled Twisted Metal live service game as part of layoffs, which, I mean, it probably, I don't know how far in development it was. This is courtesy of VGC. VGC reported in 2022 a Twisted Metal video game reboot was in active development at Firesprite, which the original developer was Lucid Games, so they moved developers. That's never a good sign when that happens. Sony originally intended to bring back the vehicular combat game series to coincide with the Twisted Metal TV series that launched in 2023. And this got canceled, and it's because Firesprite was hit pretty hard in those layoffs. I believe they were a smaller studio. I don't know a lot about them. I can't speak to what they, how they were impacted. But when you see layoffs like this, you can expect project cancellations to come. And the fact that Sony wanted to go all in on live service games, but has been unable to produce something in that time since making that announcement. What was that, 21, 22? There's not even like a simple game that came out under Sony Studios label that even, we can even think about. We've got Destiny 2, and that's about it. It takes a while to build something like this, and their best bet is to start looking at an early access program, similar to what Steam does and Xbox, where a game can launch in a rougher state, but with a live service game, that's usually okay. So if they had put out some kind of, test alpha track for Twisted Metal, maybe it wasn't that far in production though. Maybe it had a lot of structural work left to go. Those kinds of things are always on the table, but they should have done something to like draw people in, because we saw it with, curiously enough, Multiverses was a beta launch and then got pulled until they finished the game, and I felt like it was pretty solid the way it was. Now I don't know if that game's even coming out at this point, but the bet on live services is coming back to bite a lot of people in the behind, and I gotta say, I'm not surprised. If you're gonna go all in on this kind of thing, you've got to make sure that people want the product, and the product is actually good. Nobody wants to play kind of Fortnite. They want to play Fortnite. So you've got to have a unique experience ready to go right out of the gate. Let's go on to our next story. Why was that scrolled down? All right, it's a weird night. PSVR 2 to add PC support in 2024. Okay, I thought this was interesting. On the heels of the bad news, this is some interesting news. PlayStation blog had a PSVR 2 update post, and they were just talking about things coming, games coming out, updates coming to games. But they mentioned in there that we're pleased to share we're currently testing the ability for PlayStation VR 2 players to access additional games on PC to offer even more game variety in addition to the PSVR 2 titles available through PS5. We hope to make this support available in 2024. Stay tuned for more updates. Now, if they play their cards right, that could be a huge value proposition to the PSVR 2. If I can just hook it up to a PC and it work with controllers and whatever, and now those PSVR 2 exclusives can also release on PC, that's a whole new market. You know, that's a whole new market, especially if this is using some very similar tech, which I don't see why it wouldn't be, but it could be adapted to work with existing VR games in Steam, Oculus, you know, what is it? The Vive store, if that's still a thing. Not to mention, there's a ton of Game Pass games that have had VR support, and those games have come in and out. I don't know what the number is now, but I know when I had a Quest 2, I had probably 6 games that had a VR mode on PC that was accessible, and I got to try it out in Game Pass, and it just added that much more value, both to the headset and to my Game Pass subscription. So, you know, Sony could really capitalize on this if they play their cards right. You know, I feel like the VR audience is much more ready on PC than on a PlayStation. Just gonna throw that out there. And then people with a PC could look at a PSVR 2 as a viable alternative to like a Quest or whatever else is out there. I honestly don't know at this point. VR's kind of fallen off for me. But anyway, this could be interesting for them. All right, let's go to our next story. Apple Arcade axed games, declining payouts, disillusioned studios, and an uncertain future. I've talked about Apple Arcade a couple of times on the Game News Show. I like the service. I like that it offers games ad-free. I like that it's got a ton of games. I say a ton. It's got a variety of games that I can let my kid play, and there's no weird ads. And then, you know, there's a few games I like to play on there just because there's no ads and everything's unlocked. Sonic Dash is super fun. Sonic Dream Team is also super. I like Sonic games. Let's get past this. So, MobileGamer.biz, which is the publisher of this post, MobileGamer.biz sources have voiced their concern for Apple Arcade's future, citing a glut of canceled projects and ever-declining developer payouts. One developer said there was the smell of death around the service, though others suggested there are now whispers of another reboot for the service. So, I read through this article, and what I got out of it was that Apple is super secretive about what counts as a success in Apple Arcade and how to meet those goals, but then expects developers to kind of like meet Apple wherever they are, which is not, I mean, that's a very Apple move. I'm not going to defend Apple's strange business practices because they're all over the place. But with Apple Arcade, the value proposition has to come from people making games on it. So if they're making it difficult for developers, given the state of the industry, but if they're making it difficult for developers to release games in Apple Arcade, this is another instance of a platform shooting itself in the foot for no reason at all, except that they misstepped, and now they have to just kind of live with their poor decision making. I don't want to see this service shutter because it's great. I like that I can pull it up on my phone. There's cross saves, so if I pull it up on a MacBook or an iPad or even an Apple TV, I can keep playing the same game. Every game on Apple Arcade, from what I understand, works with a controller, so you get an authentic gaming, experience with like games like, Sonic Dream Team plays like a 3D Sonic game. It's pretty fun. There's some other great games on there. No ads. No like microtransactions that will cost you time and money. You don't have to watch, an ad to get more coins because there are no ads, but you also don't even have to buy coins. You just play the game and get to enjoy the game. I really hope that Apple kind of revamps it and can attract more developers, because this is how Apple stays in kind of the gaming space easily and offers Apple Arcade is essentially Apple's Game Pass. They have games come in, games meet a certain criteria, they work. The downside to if the series gets shuttered, or the service, gets shuttered again, or shuttered at all, is that a lot of these games are Apple Arcade exclusives and are would be hard to port, or at least probably hard to license outside of the license these devs sought with Apple. I don't know. Again, Apple's apparently very reclusive with these details, so nobody really knows, but hopefully Apple can revamp it if that's what the idea was. I think it's in a good spot personally, but if these stories are coming out, maybe my perception is wrong. I've just enjoyed having Apple Arcade on my phone. It's part of my Apple subscription with me and my family. We share, Apple Music, iCloud, and Apple Arcade, and so it's just kind of all bundled, and that's been kind of nice. So I'm a happy Apple Arcade subscriber, but if they're not attracting new people, then yeah, I could see the service being struggling to get people on board. All right, let's move on to our next story, which is also related to Apple. A modder has brought one of the best mobile games, Infinity Blade, to PC 5 years after it left the App Store. So, if you guys remember Infinity Blade, which was made by Epic Games, it was one of the first mobile games that promised to be like a console experience with mobile optimization. So it's very touchscreen friendly, but has a story, is a bigger game. Epic Games published this. It was pulled down in 2018. I don't know if this was due to their issues with Fortnite, or if they just ended support and pulled the game off the store. That's a very valid question. But somebody managed to port the game to PC, and so you can go download it and enjoy it. I've never played it, but this game was popular, or at least available, before I was an Apple convert. So I don't know what I'm missing. I'd like to download it and check it out. I don't know if the PC would be the place to play it. It'd be kind of funny if I could run it on a MacBook and then enjoy it that way, because then it would just kind of be full circle, I think that would be pretty funny, but my sense of humor might be broken. But very cool that somebody was able to, preserve this game. A lot of mobile games are being lost to dropped support and just the platform not, helping the game survive, because, it's been there for a long time and nobody plays it anymore. Mobile games are really churn and burn. Honestly, it's really a sad state of affairs over there, which may be why gaming by and large is feeling some symptoms, All right, anyway, let's go on to our next story. Concerned Ape, developer of Stardew Valley, says, thank you for all the support over the years. Today I'm announcing the PC release date for 1.6 update, which is March 19th. Console and mobile will follow as soon as possible. He also mentioned, they also mentioned down here, over 30 million copies of Stardew Valley were sold, which I thought was really cool. I've not jumped on board with the Stardew Valley stuff, but I have thought it's been a lot of fun. Seeing this game be successful and just continue to grow and get new features added and still captivate players. I have it downloaded. I have every intention to start playing this. I enjoy watching people play, but I have not played it myself. So might check it out with this new update. Who knows? But good job, guys. Stardew Valley is a hit. All right, let's go on to our next story. This was interesting. Nintendo's up to their shenanigans again. This is courtesy of Nintendo Insider. Nintendo sues creators behind Yuzu Switch emulator. And this is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. The people that made Yuzu are being sued by Nintendo because Nintendo claims that Yuzu's existence, its mere existence, promotes heavy piracy of Nintendo's products. And not just the fact that Nintendo's games are very popular and also expensive and leak early every single time a big one comes out. Specifically in the lawsuit so far that we know, they cite Zelda Tears of the Kingdom being leaked a week and a half before its release, and then it was played on Yuzu. And so what I have to say to that is Yuzu merely exists because of backwards compatibility and not because of anything else. Backwards compatibility because of open source development. Because somebody went in and turned it around for Nintendo, And so I think if people are going to be upset, or if Nintendo's upset that people are emulating their games, like, it's going to happen every time. People want to reverse engineer these things every single time. So, I don't know. I don't see how they can blame Yuzu for piracy when people are literally like pulling the game off of their own servers and uploading it for everybody. Like, that's the person they need to go after, who's leaking these games every single time something comes out. But anyway, let's move on to the next story. Okay. Let's talk about Pokemon Day stuff. We got a brief trailer showing off. We watched this morning, but I'm willing to watch it again if you guys are interested. So we got Pokemon Unite stuff. Miraidon, Phalanx, and Ceruledge heading to the arena in Pokemon Unite. We'll just make that big. I think it looks great. A lot of people are really upset about Miraidon. They're saying it looks kind of broken and stuff. Super interesting that they would think that, but okay. So then there were some bonuses and stuff. Super short video on that. So yeah, looks good. I'm excited. I like when new characters come to the game and I can check them out. There's currently a challenge for getting Miraidon. You can get him for free if you do the things. Kind of like the Mewtwo challenge was, where you got to get a dice and stuff. Anyway, all right. So we also got, this was the big announcement, right? This was like the thing everybody wanted to see, which was, we'll watch it again. It's a short video. This was at the end. I was so hyped for this. Like, at first I was like, oh, this is going to be another Legends game, isn't it? Just by like the art and the document that they showed, like the little envelope. And then bam, it gets all different. Like my brain exploded a little bit because I didn't know what we were looking at. I was really thinking this was like a Johto thing. But then after watching, I've watched this like 6 times today. This is so great. I should have realized it like right here. And it was like here, I went, hey, that's the thing from X and Y, isn't it? And so it actually blew my mind a little bit that we had X and Y. I was like, oh, we getting Legends X and Y? Lumio City. So I didn't know what to make of that, right? But then it's like Pokemon Legends Z. A. So, all right, cool, right? Like, amazing. Absolutely could not believe it. And then at the end, they had to remind people why we liked X and Y so much. Mega Evos. Let's go. I was so pumped for that. That screenshot alone kind of sold me on the game. Just to know that Mega Evos are coming back. Super amazing. So I thought it was awesome. Like, come on now. That was the highlight of the Pokemon Day video. Was this 1 minute and 56 second trailer teaser for Pokemon Legends ZA. It's looking good. My only concern, and we'll dive into the website that they published here today as well. Pokemon Legends ZA, which I thought maybe like the A would be like some Greek letter or something, but no, it's just an A. So we got Pokemon Legends ZA releasing simultaneously worldwide in 2025. It says a new venture awaits within Lumio City, where an urban redevelopment plan is underway to shape the city into a place that belongs to both people and Pokemon. Please look forward to seeing it for yourself. And that's it. But what I was concerned about, I was like, okay, are we gonna get to explore like Kalos? Now it just looks like, and you can watch the trailer a few times. You get the feel. They said exactly what they wanted to say. You're gonna be in the city the whole time, and Lumios looks like it's gonna feel bigger. It's gonna be dense. There's gonna be a lot to do. The urban redevelopment thing is happening. Like whatever that means, we'll find out. I guess you're like helping plan the city, but is this like the future, the past? I don't really know. It looks like it's the future, and so I guess the Legends series just can go around, and do whatever they want. And it is what it is. I'm super excited about it either way, as long as it retains what made Legends Arceus so good, which was open world, catching, and exploration. Like those things all combined with battles and stuff. I liked the battles, but this was way better. I'm excited for this. All right. Then the last big announcement from Pokemon Day was Pokemon trading card game Pocket. They had like a 4-minute. That was like most of this presentation was this 4-minute trailer. I'm not gonna watch it here, but basically, they're making a digital collecting app with a faster version of the Pokemon TCG on board. Think like Marvel Snap, maybe even Hearthstone to some degree. But I think this is great. Some people are upset by this, but I think this is great because I tried to play Pokemon TCG Live literally yesterday, and the match just took too long. Like, it took too long to get started. The turns take way too long. People are always doing some shenanigan that makes the turns like it makes a whole match last way longer than it needs to. Like, if you can win in a turn by doing one thing and you do 18 things, you're not making the game fun for anybody. So I'm a little like apprehensive about continuing down the TCG route, but this looks great. You get free booster packs daily, tons of art and cool effects. Like, I love this Charizard. That's why I left it up here. This just looks awesome. I'm very excited for this. So we have that, and then we've got the immersive cards. We just talked about this. And then they don't really show the gameplay, but they showed like a little snippet of gameplay. It's faster Pokemon TCG, which is great. That's what I want. That's what I'm here for. I'm very excited about. But yeah, so I thought that was super cool and awesome. So, I'm sorry, I got a little distracted there. Anyway, I believe that wraps up our game news coverage for today. Man, I've had all sorts of technical issues tonight. It's all good. If you're watching this live, we're about to play some other games. Maybe. I don't know what's going on. But other than that, thanks for watching the Game News Show. If you're watching on YouTube after the fact, thank you for liking and subscribing. If you enjoyed it, let me know what you think about the new Pokemon announcements or anything we talked about down in the comments below. And until next time, see ya. If you're watching live, we're going to play some video games now. Bye.